Hey there, my name's Matt Rudman, or this way. This way, no, this way. I got it all wrong, doesn't matter. So it's because it's mirrored. That's what I'm terribly wrong at the beginning. But anyway, today I would like to talk to you about which martial art is best for my child. I'm the owner of Cheltenham Martial Arts. I'm not going to talk about my place today. Just want to talk about my experience as an instructor for, since 2005. And often what I see from parents, not sure about, what martial arts is all about, and even which is the best one that's suitable for them. So I hope this video is really just going to help a lot of people and just give you some ideas what to look for, and and kind of find that right place that is for your child. So I got to say, from my own experience as an instructor, it is a great thing. I did martial arts as a child, so I'll try and share some of my experience with that as well. Some of the things that are great and some of the things that, oh my gosh, that wasn't so good. Which has helped me as an instructor, into obviously as an adult. All right. So martial arts is obviously, unless you've done martial arts before, you may, most adults not sure, what one's best, what one should I put my child into, where should I go, how to look. But I do strongly believe that martial arts is a massive investment into your child, and I'm a bit biased, of course, but really treat it like you're looking for a new school, as if you would be going to find a school for your child. What things would you look for there? Because at the end, ultimately, as I'm going on to say in a little bit, is that it's an investment, but this person that's going to be teaching your child is going to be a role model for your child. Okay, so martial arts is continued to evolve. It's just evolved since the day it began, basically, and it's developed into different styles, and then there's styles within styles. So one of the ones that I studied under was karate, but Wadaru karate. Then there's Shotokan karate, and there's all different types of forms there. And the same with kung fu. There's you got the different styles of kung fu. So which one do I go for? Do I go for MMA? Do I do jiu-jitsu? But which jiu-jitsu? Do I do Japanese or Brazilian? So knowing which one, it can be a bit of a minefield, and unless you've done it, or you're adamant on something, then it's going to be, which is going to be best. So that's basically what this is about. So if you're adamant, I'm doing this, or I did this as a child, and I want my child to do the same, straight down the middle. It's a nice, easy. It makes the selection process that little bit, well, not necessarily easier. You just know exactly what you want, basically, for your child. I want to try and keep it simple. So try not to overthink the style too much. All right. I feel you got to look instead exactly what you want for your child to accomplish from learning martial arts. And this not only help you decide what style, but it's going to help in like the process of finding, well, which club is going to be best for my child, or which academy, which studio, which instructor is best for my child as well. Because at the end of the day, we want our children to thrive. We want them to do well and excel. Yeah. So whatever or wherever you decide, your child is definitely going to be great. It's going to be part of a great experience, and their confidence is really going to grow in ways you couldn't even imagine. I wrote a book a few years back just on my experience of teaching the children over the years, and some of the accomplishments that they went on to achieve outside of martial arts in their personal lives, going on through college and university. And quite often they do come back and they say, oh, Mr. Rudman, they still call me Mr. Rudman. Mr. Rudman, oh my gosh, I had this thing in my head that you taught me, and it helped me, with my studying, or it helped me, when things were a bit tough. So, it's something that stays with them for life. And so many great memories are going to get, but really it is the investment in their personal and physical development. So understand that martial arts, really what it stands for is continual learning and continually trying to better ourselves. Obviously, in our heads, we first want to think, it's fighting and it's doing all sorts. Yes, there's punching and kicking involved, or there might be throws and holds, but it's all an element of discipline and control that we try and perfect and get better at, which gives us an edge on terms of self-defense, which is the most obvious thing, of course, that we get from martial arts. And depending which one, it'd just be you become a master in that field, and a lot of people then want to try different ones later on as they've kind of got their head around wherever it is they're at. All right. So I would say the first thing to consider is that parent is kind of, I think parents sometimes forget is their own commitment to their child taking part in any sport or hobby, to be honest with you. So no parent really wants their child to do anything they don't want to do, right? But consider this. I can only talk about I can talk about every martial arts now in this when I say this, is that it is an investment in your child that you are definitely making. So it is, as in my opinion, I'm not saying it's better than school. It should be in schools, though. I feel there's a lot of character development that comes from there, and self-discipline, and the obvious of confidence building, but a lot about control and controlling aggression, controlling temper, learning to work with others safely, and considering considering working with others. So it's one of them things that sometimes I personally feel gets a little bit overlooked. So no parent wants their child to do anything they don't want to do. But when your child says, I don't want to go to school today, you still send them to school because you know it's important for their education. So I think that's the one thing to consider first, is that it's not your child that's committing. It is you that has to commit to your child doing the martial arts. And when you kind of see it that way, it makes it easier, because most often the child's going to say, I don't want to go today because I'm doing X, Y, Z, or they kind of got their head fixed in the 5 minutes that they're in there and then, because children do very much live in the moment. So I would say, again, from experience, if wherever you decide to take your child for martial arts, then speak to the instructor about it, have a little chat, and they will want to work with you. They want to see your child grow, and it's a great turning point. Okay, but there's another video for that, so make sure you can commit to their training. So the next thing I need to consider is what exactly you want your child to gain from martial arts. So are you looking for them to compete or enter competitions? So there's that to consider first of all. So if that's something, I want to compete. Well, are you looking for just amateur level, or I want them to go to Olympics? Well, Olympics at the moment would be taekwondo, judo, and karate. Okay, so there's those things to think about. I'm sure I haven't missed anything. Or boxing. It's still a martial arts in its own right, yeah. So there's that to consider. Or if it's not so fussed about that, then you might consider more local level, or national competitions, if that's what you want them to do. So not all clubs will do that. And there's some, and again, it's then, well, how far do you want them to go? So don't worry I'm not saying every club will make you force your child to do competition. I'm just saying, is that something you want for them? So it might determine what martial arts you put them into. So, based on that, of course, then you got the most popular would be MMA which is obviously very mainstream. We see that all the time. Yes. And are you willing to take them to those training sessions? Because that may involve extra training sessions should they, make a team, maybe a lot of early hours. And again, can you and will you invest in that? And then taking them around the country for various, competitions. So there's that to consider as well. That's, one thing to think about, but it's not a necessity. It's not something that they have to do, I would say, in most, martial arts centers, most martial art clubs. Yeah. They still have to test it with a partner. That's very important. A bit difficult at the moment with the COVID, but it still has to be tested. But thinking about the competition level, if that's something they want. So how often can they train? So personally, I would recommend 2 to 3 times a week. If you want them to benefit the most from the physical, from the emotional, the social, from everything that comes with that. When I was young, I used to do scouts and cubs and judo. Youth club, whatever. But I know from myself now, as I've experienced, as I've evolved in becoming an instructor, that it's almost that all those things are in some places. Yeah, a lot of places are doing a lot of leadership and personal development within there. So obviously, for your child to benefit from all those things, I would recommend 2 to 3 times a week. But not every, there are a lot of children that are busy, or parents are busy, got other activities. So some clubs do offer once per week, and others require you to train 2 or more. Okay, so just something to think about. Is it just for an energy burnout or a hobby? So is it just, I just want them to try this out, or am I, I want them to be able to defend themselves? Because nowadays martial arts is pretty much everywhere. It's much more popular than going back, probably 20, even past there, 30, 40 years ago. It went crazy when the Karate Kid came out. So a lot of people have done martial arts. So in terms of self-defense, makes, to be able to defend yourself, you need to be able to defend yourself probably against someone that has done martial arts. So it's having that edge. Or is it, you just want a bit of a hobby or something for them to do, just giving it a go. So, and, have that clear in your head. What other things would you like them to learn? Is it, like I said, we said about competition, but would you like them to have a leadership program or mindset or personal development program? Not all places focus on these areas, but they are all going to get, the confidence building, the things that we would expect to come from martial arts. I think the next one is quite an important one, and it's thinking about, the areas you would like your child to improve on. Because, like I've said, is that it is great for, self-discipline. You'll be surprised. I think parents sometimes surprised, oh my, their grades have got better, that, their attitudes changed at home. So what 3 areas would you like your child to improve on overall? So, again, confidence or self-discipline, respect, or is it anti-bullying, the self-defense? So what are the 3 things? And come up with 3. We always ask people to think, what are the 3 reasons that they want to get started with us? Because normally it's that 3rd one is the most important, and it gives you time to really think about, why you're doing it. You can sit and ask your child, of course, but as a parent, I feel that, where they want to, what's required for them. And as a parent, we are a guide for our children, of course. And are you okay with them trying, a class with older or younger children? So some places, like before, when I first started teaching, we included, pretty much mixed the age. It was quite broad. Are you okay with that? There might be an adult in the class, or would you like them at a more reasonable age group? So it's no right or wrong. It's just, what is it you would prefer? What and how you want, and what you prefer is going to determine like how they evolve and how they, can train within that group. So we do age specific classes now. We keep the age range quite tight, so that they're just within their same kind of peer group. They can all learn at the age range that they're at on that spectrum across all levels. And again, but it might be you want all your children to go, and they're all different ages. So there's the time issue of, well, can they all go into the same class, or have I got to wait for some of these classes to finish? So it comes down to what you want for your child, and again, it's a bit down to your commitments and your time. And do you want to join them in the same class? So if you want if you want to join in, then your age specific class isn't going to be much help for you, because you're not going to be able to join in with them, basically. And then, of course, it depends on their age. You've got to think about their age. So some places will start from 3 or 4. It all depends on the resources and the instructorship of wherever you want them to go. Okay, I've had someone ask if their 1.5-year-old could start, but we said no. Obviously, that's a little bit too young. But not to say it can't be done. It would just be more like getting movement and play and learn, not quite what we would be wanting to do, if that makes sense. So think, is it something you want to do with them? All right, and if it is, that's going to determine maybe a place that you would go to or not. Okay. Overall, what is the outcome that you want for them? So it's kind of covered it in the other questions. So it's thinking, what is the outcome I want for my child? What do I want them to get from this? When you've established this, you can use your answers as a basis, for where you want to take them. So location wise, you got full-time establishment, or you got kind of like, I call it part-time, but they're not always part-time. There's maybe like a school hall or a church hall. So when I say full-time, it's it's a studio. It's their studio, it's their academy, it's their center, or rather than a rented space. Okay, you've each got their pros and their cons. Okay, or things against them. So full-time center, you should expect it to be fully equipped and fitted, safety matting. It should have a good timetable. I'd say regular classes, professional instructors. So this is like their job. Most of the time it's their job. All right, it's their bread and butter, which is actually a good thing in my opinion, because they're really committed to you. I'm not saying someone part-time isn't, it's just that they really want to, you know, keep the club up together. They want to keep things going. So, you know, they're in it for the long haul. They're fully committed to you. You might pay a little bit more, but you always get what you pay for. And they are a great place to invest in your child. Okay, a full-time club, you know, should have the time to actively keep the place running. And this is good news, as it means, you know, they won't be closing down anytime soon. Sadly, we do have children that sometimes will come in. Maybe they've been to a more of like a smaller place that's rented, and they've had to start again just because the school owner, you know, they couldn't continue, or the instructor couldn't continue. It was, you know, more like a hobby base for them. It happened to me actually. So I actually did judo initially. It was in my primary school. Loved it. That was great. The guy used to just drive around. We used to get all the mats out, put the stuff down. So that was great. That was all that was there until I had to move away. Then I went and tried Kung Fu somewhere in Gloucester. I think it was at a leisure centre. I was a teenager, so there's nothing about now. And the next week they weren't there. It just really annoyed me, because at that time I really needed to, you know, get back into it and, you know, have that for me. So it put me off for quite a long time, thinking, oh, well, they're not here. So that was something, you know, that's stuck with me. So the school or town hall, the, you know, rented spaces, they can be a mix of part-time and full-time professional instructors. Okay, as I said, it could just be their hobby. All right, they just want to do it as a bit of, they've learned martial arts, they enjoy it. It's just a bit of, you know, fun for them. But the great tuition, okay, they've still got their wealth of experience, and of course, you should always check on, you know, their background anyway. They should be able to keep the cost down. So if it's in a school hall or town hall, I would imagine they should be able to keep the cost down for you a little bit, because they don't have the same amount of overheads as a full-time. However, they can be restricted when opening. So particularly over COVID, it's been a bit of a shame. Some have had to, you know, weren't able to open. They were kind of restricted by whatever the school or the hall or whatever it is they were saying to them. If it's a part-time club for the instructor, sometimes, so if it's like their hobby as teaching, other commitments may come first. So you just got to be prepared that the class might get cancelled, and it could be short notice. You know, unless they got a team behind them, which is sometimes the case, not always. So it's just something to bear in mind. If they're running from multiple venues, just ask, are you able to attend the other ones if you want to? They may or may not be safety mats, depending on the style. So you should consider this, because impact on your child's joints, even just from kicking, you know, onto a hard floor. You're gonna, the matting, good matting, you know, safety matting absorbs a lot of the impact from, you know, basic kick or kicking drills. And how established is the part-time location? So how long have they been teaching? How long has it been there? Is it, you know, brand new? Are they if it's brand new, are they running it somewhere else? Or are they part of an organization that or a franchise? You know, but they've all got to start somewhere, so don't discount it. It's just like, you might, if you're just seeing how it goes or test the waters, they've got to build up from somewhere anyway. But it's just something to bear in mind that, you know, if it's, especially if you're just testing the waters, then I think no problem. If it's like, no, I'm really serious, then, you know, ask a few questions. The best way though is take a trial, try it out, do a couple of classes, couple of weeks. Every club is different on how they offer trials. Some do a free one. We do paid because we're just so busy. There's no right or wrong answer to which one is best, free or paid. You simply need to go and try it. I'd advise, let your child do a few classes and find out, see how they get on. Sometimes parents would like, do want to sit with a child and watch a class first, but it's a really bad idea, because your child's going to look at that and start thinking, oh, I can't do that. I don't like this. I don't like that. So get them involved in the class, and if you can, like, try and stay and watch them. It's easier there. And if they're involved in the class, much easier for the instructor to build up some kind of relationship with them, and for the other members to build up one, and they don't feel like they're singled out, sat at the back, like watching. It brings a bit of anxiety. Trust me, I've seen it. So the relationship is key, and it is a three-way relationship between you, your child, the instructor, also the other people they're going to be training with. So if you can stay, get a feel for all of that. See, you know, does your child feel part of the group, part of the class? Is the instructor a good role model that you want for your child? Hopefully, you know, this is where your child's going to be for a good few years. So, and your instructor is going to be a massive influence on your child, whoever. So research them, find out a little bit more. If it does it fit in with your ideals, your values, your principles. Does it fit in with that? And most importantly, get on with them, because they're teaching your child. I think that's quite important. We can't get on with everybody. It's just a natural thing, right? We're not going to be pleased by everybody, and we can't please everybody. So, and if it doesn't work out, just handshake, thank you very much, and that's it. Crack on. But hopefully, you're going to build up a great relationship with them and with the instructor. And children do look up to the instructor so much. And actually, you can use them as a little bit of leverage sometimes if some, for whatever reason, their behavior doesn't quite cut the mustard, I say, at home. Yeah. So I hope that's giving you a few ideas. So see how your child is after a few classes. Give them lots of praise. Look for positive changes, maybe in their behavior or attitude. See if there's anything different at home. Have a look at that. And of course, if they're coming out bouncing and they're trying to show off some of their stuff, praise them for that. That's really good. That's quite, especially, and whatever happens once they've taken that first class, wherever you decide that you might take them, then praise them for that, because that takes a lot of courage, for a child. Investment wise, everywhere is different, and you always, whatever you do in life, you always get what you pay for. Okay, and I've seen prices varied from £20 per month for £2 per class, and I've seen some places about 150 a month. You get what you pay for. But I feel you should look at the other things that I've just said and use that to make a valued judgment on what you are prepared to invest in your child. Okay. But like I said, yeah, it's the main objectives you set out at the beginning, and taking an actual trial so you can value that, get an idea of it. Martial arts, as I said at the beginning, has evolved so much over the years. There's a lot more to it than maybe what there once. If it's just punching and kicking, then that's going to reflect in the price. If there's a leadership and development program, that's going to reflect in the price. Again, if it's going on to more the professional level martial arts, that's going to reflect in the price as well. Okay, so a lower membership might sound great until the club can't sustain themselves very long and you're back looking again. So there's another thing to consider. What are the other costs? So ask, find out, is there any other hidden costs? Some not hidden, it's just more, sometimes there are other costs that you have to consider. Is there a license that you got to pay, or insurance that you got to pay, or is this included? Are there grading fees, or is this included in the the main price, in the main tuition? Everywhere's different. It's not right or wrong. Just saying is everywhere's different. It all, and I'd say across the board, most of it ends up balancing out. So where it might seem a lower rate, actually balances out because you're paying grading fees there. Some of the whereas a more rate may not be paying grading fees. So you need to just find out, ask those questions, and of course with testing, how often is that? Is it every day? It's no good, is it? It wouldn't be that. That's being silly. But find out, and the reason to find out is more if there's cost involved, because we're talking about the financial side of things here. All right. What additional equipment do they need? How much is that going to be? Got to have equipment. So you might get a free uniform, but they should really have safety kit, whether it be sparring gear or anything else. And sometimes you may be required for a couple of different uniforms or gis. Yeah. So do you pay per? Another thing to consider is, are you paying tuition per class, per month, or is it an outcome-based course? Each have their pros and their cons. All right. We don't personally do per class because it makes no sense. But I'm not saying it's wrong. It's just that we want people that are committed to their journey, that are gonna stay with us. So just to give you an idea, right? Finally, some things you might want to consider, because things have evolved even with us this year. And I say us, the martial arts industry. So what other resources do they have to offer now? Very quickly, a lot of us had to go online and have online databases. So it's a great help for your child's journey. It's something that you can help and guide them at home. So what is there? If you want that, and have they entered the we've entered the digital age of learning. So do they have an online learning portal? And are they offering, you might want to consider live streaming classes. A lot are now, which is great. So you got the especially at the moment, so you've got a bit of a mix. I want them to do this, but I don't want to go into a place at the moment. Well, find out, is there live streaming classes that they can do and to take part? Or you might want a mixture of both. Which again is something we offer, so they can do some. If time is sometimes an issue, you can't get them in for the other sessions, then you might have now have an option of, right, well, I can't get in, but they can still train from home, and of course, those centers will be able to help you with that. Okay, I went longer than I thought, but I hope that's helped. All right, it just really a bit of information. Because parents ask sometimes, what I see a question come up. I don't know which one's best. Which one's best? It's down to you. And I think really, unless you're adamant you want to do a certain specific style and get a feel for the place, and ask those questions that I set out at the beginning. Anything you guys wanted to add, then just drop them in the comments, and I'll get back to you, or my team will get back to you. All right, see you later. Bye.